to the grandmas, Sarah and Dinks, late of this parish. Part 1. Pause. Chapter 1. Fred and Ellie. Fred and Ellie Stone were twins, but they were never sure whether or not they could call themselves identical. They certainly shared exactly the same birthday, 20th of September, 11 years ago, and they had the same mum and dad, Eric and Janine. But their names were Fred and Ellie, and a boy and girl are clearly not identical. Footnote 1. A boy and girl can only be fraternal twins, never identical, but don't ask me to explain the difference. It's a bit yucky. Yet they felt identical. They sometimes even felt that they knew what one another were thinking. And even if they were 200 metres apart, they could mouth words at each other and always know what the other one was saying. They did look pretty identical too. They both wore glasses, and most of the time their school uniforms, even though uniform wasn't compulsory at their school. And they both, at the point at which this story begins, had braces on their top teeth. They also both liked the same things. These included superheroes, Japanese fantasy animation films, comics, maths. Yes, they actually liked maths. Sometimes they played a game called Who Can Name More Decimal Places of Pi? And most importantly, video games. All video games, but their favourites were FIFA, Street Fighter, Super Mario, and Minecraft. The one thing they would save up their not very much pocket money to buy was the most up-to-date versions of these games. Ellie, though, was better than Fred at video games. Footnote 2. Fred was better than her at one thing, however, customising the avatars. He could customise any avatar on any game so the character on screen looked great. Hairstyle, eye colour, skin colour, clothes, teeth, every shape and size. Fred sometimes wondered if he didn't like doing that even more than playing the games. Which Fred didn't mind, Ellie being better at video games, that is. He knew she had quicker fingers and better hand-to-eye coordination. And even though he sometimes got frustrated at losing, other times he just liked watching her fingers speed across her controller, as if she was playing a classical concerto by heart. And when I say her controller, I mean her controller. Ellie and Fred always used their own ones. Ellie, in particular, was always very definite about which one was hers. The feel and the weight of her controller, even if, to the untrained eye-stroke-hand, both of them may have looked-stroke-felt exactly the same, suited her style perfectly. Which was why what happened to it was quite so upsetting. Chapter 2. Eric. Eric Stone was, there is no nice way of saying this, fat. Well, there are nice ways of saying it, and Eric did often use these ways, describing himself as big-boned, or portly, or suffering from terrible water retention. But the truth was, he was fat, because he ate too much. He didn't have terrible water retention, he had terrible bacon sandwich retention. To be fair to Eric, he did, normally after a bit of prompting from his wife, Janine, and his children, Fred and Ellie, go on a lot of diets. He'd been on the high-fibre diet, and the low-carb diet, and the juice diet, and the no-juice diet, and the cabbage soup diet, and the pea and mint soup diet, and a diet he made up where he only ate banana muffins and cheese. He'd been on the 5-2 diet, and the 6-1 diet, and the 4-3 diet, and the 2-5 diet, and even the 17-28 diet, which meant not eating anything for a minute between 17:27 and 17:29 every day. He'd been to Weight Watchers, and Chocoholics Anonymous, and 16 Stoners Self-Help, and big-boned portly bacon sandwich retenters sit around in a circle and say how it isn't really their fault. Actually, this last one was what Janine called all Eric's diet groups. Trouble was, the diets didn't make Eric any lighter. If anything, they made him heavier, because every time he finished one, and he did always finish them, normally after only 4 or 5 days, he would eat about 5 times his own weight in bacon sandwiches. Footnote 3. It didn't help that Eric worked for a supermarket as a retail manager, whatever that is. I should know, I know, but I...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?